Alrighty, fifth graders. So today for math, we are going to be working on comparing fraction factors and products. Alright, so we will be wanting to be able to relate the size of the product compared to the size of one factor when multiplying fractions. Alright, so the first thing that I wanted to do today was show you this question here so that way we have the right mindset as we are going through this lesson. Alright, and this question says, how does the size of the product compare to the size of one factor when multiplying fractions? Alright, so this is something that you need to be thinking about as we go through this lesson. Alright, and the product, remember a product means the answer that you get to a multiplication equation. So that's what the answer, or what the product is. And we also have a factor. And a factor, that means the number, or one of the numbers that you are using in your equation to get your product. All right, so one of those numbers that you're multiplying by. All right, so keep that in mind here. But now I just wanted to compare fractions to decimals a little bit. Alrighty. So I want you to be thinking right now what you already know about decimals, alrighty, and about multiplying decimals. So think about that for a second. And once you're done thinking about that, think about this question here. Is 0.1 less than or greater than 1? Is 0.1 less than or greater than 1? So think about that for a second. You can pause the video and then move on with the video when you're ready. Alright, so 0.1 is less than 1. Alright, and that does make sense, alright? 0.1 is less than 1. But now I want you to think, if you multiplied 0.1 by 0.1, what would be the product? And again, remember, product is the answer. If you multiplied 0.1 by 0.1, what would be the product? Alright, so think about that for a second. So the answer would be 0.01. Alright, so if you multiply 0.1 by 0.1, you get 0.01. And then is 0.01 greater than or less than 0.1? Alright, is the number that, or the product that we got in the end bigger than or smaller than these factors that we just multiplied, or 0.1? Think about that for a second. And when you're ready to move on, go ahead. So it is less than, yep, 0.01 is less than 0.1. Alright. But could we write these decimals as fractions? Could we write 0.01 as a fraction? And then could we write our product as a fraction? Yeah, I think we could. Yep, so we can make these into fractions. So these decimal here's can become fractions. So now let's think about what is the fraction 0.1. Alright, because in that equation that we just looked at, we are multiplying 0.1 times 0.1. And we got 0.01. Okay. So what really is 0.1 as a fraction? How might I figure that out? Well, I know that 0.1 is 1 part of the whole, and 1 is equal to 1 would be our whole. Alright, so a tenth of 1, or 0.1 of 1 equals 1/10. Alright, because it is a tenth, that 0.1 is a tenth of 1. So we can write that out as 1/10. So really, 0.1 times 0.1 is 1/10 times 1/10. Alright, and if we multiply 1/10 by 1/10, do we think that our answer is going to be smaller than 1/10 or larger? Think about that for a second. So really, when we're thinking about this problem, we are multiplying 1/10 by a tenth. So we're taking a tenth of a tenth here. So knowing that, our answer should be smaller because we're taking a smaller portion of 1/10. We're actually taking 1/10 of it. All right, so it should be a smaller number. All right, and if we do our math here, it would be 1 over 100. All right, so 0.1 times 0.1 becomes a smaller number because we are multiplying a less, or we're taking a part of a number. Same thing down here, 1/10 of 1/10 will be smaller than the original 1/10. We got 1/100th. All right, so hopefully that makes sense a little bit. Why we get smaller numbers when we are multiplying factors by factors. Our product is always going to become smaller in those situations. Alrighty. So now I just wanted you to go ahead and try these 4 problems on your own. Alright, so do your best to answer these 4 problems. And then you can come back and watch the video, or the second video that I post on Google Slides, to go over these questions with you.